What's up, y'all? We are back, and out of the Park Baseball 26, the beta just dropped about 2 days ago. I actually haven't been able to poke around with it yet, but very excited to finally hop into it. Very excited for this release season, I guess you call it. Yeah, OOTP 25. I haven't played that in a while, but very excited to jump into the new game and see some new features. I did glance through really quick the website, and I've kind of been following the release in the background, but yeah, there's a couple of new cool features that I'd like to try out in this. So we're going to start a new game. Standard games, I usually do. I usually don't do challenge mode. I like to have a little bit of control. So we'll continue with new game. I did see they added back, I think the Netherlands League. I think that's what this is. And the British National Baseball League. I don't know if those were in the game last year. I think it was just the Korean League, and then yeah, these were out of the game. I could be wrong about that. I kind of forgot. But anyway, we'll select. I don't want to have this take too long to boot up, so we'll stick with just the standard ones. This is really cool. Off-season start. Honestly, a great feature. So you get to kind of start in the previous offseason. So if I was the Yankees and I wanted to bring back Juan Soto, I could do that. That'd be pretty cool. So I don't plan on starting a series anytime soon. I did it last year, and yeah, it just the game wasn't really ready to be played yet. So the series wound up lasting about a year until I found a bunch of bugs, and it's just not a good experience. So maybe I'll do like a quick series until the game kind of gets to a playable space. Also, my hand is burned. That's the reason I have a thing on my hand, but if you see that in the video. But yeah, I'm hoping to come back with, probably 2 episodes a week at this point. I kind of went through phases of releasing and not releasing. So if I get a good schedule, 2 releases a week of a series, I think I'd put the channel in a good spot. Yeah, it's been quite a bit since I played and recorded a video, so excuse me if takes a little bit to get back into it. But yeah, subscribe, like the video if you enjoy, or if you didn't, that's fine too. But yeah, really excited for this, and I feel like it's usually quicker to boot up, but maybe it's because I added the Korean League and the partner leagues, but I usually put those 2 in anyway. I should have added the World Baseball Classic too, because I think they did something cool with that as well. I should have done that, but that's fine. We'll do that in another series. So I'm gonna cut here while this boots up, and we'll come back with first look. All right, so that took way longer than 25 right out the gate to load up, but that's fine. I'm hopping into the Yankees because that's my favorite team. Just scrolling through, they did my boy Garrett Cole dirty with these ratings, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna set up the game how I normally do and just see if anything new pops up. So do 20 to 80 increments of 5. Doesn't look like there's anything new here. I usually control all the lineups myself, but I don't see anything too crazy. Add personalities. All of this looks pretty normal. The player development thing I know was they're kind of building on what they added in last year. Development target age, I think that's already been there. Tally change randomness, I usually just leave it at 100, but I know people like to go to 120, 150. All of that looks pretty normal. The lab is still defaulted to 8. I think that's what it was previously. I found myself increasing it. I don't know if maybe it was 6, because I found myself increasing it toward the end. It didn't feel like it was really worth it. And I wonder if they've played with that a little bit. That all looks pretty normal. All of this looks normal. I usually increase the difficulty a couple ticks. League settings, that all looks pretty standard. I expand the rosters to 30, expanded roster size. All of this looks pretty normal. I wonder if they have like deferrals. Did they add that in? I think that would get a little too tricky and pretty easy to cheese it. But they didn't do anything like that, it looks like. I know they added in a new scouting system, which is really, really cool, and I'm excited to jump into that. I'll just leave all the awards how they are. I'm not getting too far into this. Historical. Yeah, this all looks pretty standard. So nothing too new so far besides a long loading screen. Ton of guys on the IL, just a travesty. Just the interface in general. I don't know if I like it. It's always tough to get used to the new interfaces. It's just there's an adjustment. I'm sure I'll find myself liking it at some point, but just looking around, like it's kind of aesthetically pleasing, I guess. What are the light mode looks? Oh, geez. Okay. That's piercing on the eyes. I apologize to anyone who had to see that. How's the classic look? Yeah. Yeah, that I don't even know if that was like before I started playing the game. I started in 14, I think. Oh, didn't mean to go back to light. I don't know how long this video will be, but I'm just gonna poke around the game a little bit. So, nothing too crazy yet. Pitching interfaces looks pretty standard. They have Luke Weaver starting. That's interesting. Lineups all looks pretty normal. I have to set my views to be the way that I like them. Dominic Smith apparently makes the team in this. That's cool. Strategy all looks pretty standard. Nothing new with budgets. Wow, we have so much money to spend. Wow, the budget is insane. Player development. That screen all looks the same. Scouting, yeah, so nothing too different. Looking around. So yeah, I'm going to sim a little bit up until opening day and just, see how this goes and jump in when I see something interesting. So the first interesting thing, and this is it always seems to get weird at the beginning of when they first launched the game, but we claimed Eggy Rosario from the Padres. I mean, this is a damn good player that should not be on waivers. So unfortunately, this always happens, and it happens even once they get into the game and it reaches a good point. I'm curious to see, like, are there any weird demands or anything? Doesn't look too crazy. Who the heck is this guy? Interesting. Alex Verdugo still out here asking for $5.5 million. Yeah, he'd be lucky if he got a minor league deal after the season he had for us. But yeah, we're gonna keep jumping forward. Just gotta call out the obligatory waiver wire crap and I'm sure we'll see some trades here that are pretty crazy, but we'll be back. All right, so just looking around at some major transactions that are going on. I see there's a restricted list now, which is interesting. Mike King got suspended for 8 games, Tyler Freeman for 4 games, and both these guys were placed on the restricted list. So instead of having to hold these guys on your roster and losing roster spots, I guess they let you put them on the restricted list, which is interesting. I don't know if that's even a rule in real life. I'm pretty sure you have to play with a man down. But another funny thing, the Mets, as the Padres placed Eggy Rosario on waivers, the Mets placed Jesse Winker, who they just signed to a free agent deal this offseason, on waivers immediately. They could not wait to get rid of him after they signed him this offseason. But just interesting. I hope that's not like a trend. But yeah, I mean, so far, there were a couple trades in March, but they didn't seem too unreasonable. It was like a deal the Twins got Nick Martinez for a couple like middle prospects, about what he'd be worth. And then the Orioles got David Bednar for like a nothing prospect. David Bednar coming off a really, really, really bad season last year for Pittsburgh. But yeah, we're going to keep moving forward. And I don't know when like the draft stuff begins, but we'll monitor that as we move forward. All right, so I accidentally skipped the first day of it, but we are at the first year draft combine. Really interesting. I read through the description of kind of what goes on. So I guess I'm supposed to go in and direct my scout which guys I want to scout. I'm not sure what the limit. Oh, actually, I did read about this. Um, each day your scout, okay, thereby increasing your scouting accuracy, you may assign a scout. But the more he's assigned, the less time to scout. So you can go more scouting time and theoretically get better results on their scouting accuracy, or you scout a bunch and are less accurate. So that's really interesting, actually. I love that feature. I think it's, really immersive, actually. So instead of just showing up to the draft and, your scout, I don't know what the accuracy usually is, but it's usually pretty high, I think. So this kind of adds some strategy into drafting, which I really, really like. So I know the Yankees are picking like pretty late. So, I don't even think it's worth scouting a bunch of these top guys. But, I might just let my scout do this for me. I don't even know how to do that. Oh, ask scout for recommendations. So, he's scouting a lot of the top guys. I don't know how many this is. This was like 30 or so. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 40, 50. He probably has 50 on here. So, I'm just going to let him do it and kind of see how this goes. This guy looks freaking sick. Holy crap. Jamie Arnold. I'm not too familiar with any of the draft prospects this year. I obviously know like Ethan Holiday and who the heck was the other guy I saw? Casey Cunningham. It rings a bell. High school guy. I don't watch a ton of college baseball or anything, but yeah, I'll let my scout do this, but really cool. You can see their demands here too, signability. I'm guessing the relationship will increase when I go to the next day, and the accuracy will probably also increase. So I'm guessing if I add more people, the risk decreases. I don't know what the risk means. Scout is currently overbooked. So like, what if I took off this guy? That's interesting. Okay, so it says he's overbooked. I don't quite know what that means yet, but we're going to go to the next day and just see how the stuff changes. So I don't know if people moved or something changed, but it's kind of difficult to tell which has happened. But it doesn't look like the scouting maybe went from a couple low to averages, but we don't really have any high scouting, and I think there's only another day left of the combine, maybe 2. So let's just see like where we walk out of this. Yeah, so this doesn't really look like it's doing much. You also see the league interest, which is good. I guess that like relates to where they're going to be drafted. So we don't really have any good scouting accuracies how it is right now. There you go. That's the end of the combine. So, I guess you could see the results. So we don't even have anyone above average accuracy, so we're kind of going into the draft blind. It's interesting. It's gonna take a little bit of playing around with, but I love that feature. And maybe the accuracy goes up before the draft too, but really, really excellent feature, and hopefully a useful addition that makes the game more fun. This part of the season is kind of like, sim until we get to the draft or the trade deadline. June's kind of a little bit quiet, so this is a good feature for this time of year. As we move forward, I haven't really checked trades. Yeah, there hasn't been a ton, which is actually quite realistic. You had the Angels trading Yohan Moncada. There's guy Christian Hernandez. So like that's a decent like early trade. It's nothing crazy. Cubs are buyers, Angels sellers, pretty obvious. Then these two were like, a little weird. You can kind of consider them like off-season trades, I guess, but yeah, nothing crazy, which is quite realistic. There's not a ton of trades that happen before July. So we got, let's see. So Rangers got Anthony Bender, who's having a really good season. And the Marlins got back a decent reliever prospect, a nothing second baseman, and a decent older bat in Marcus Smith. So like decent value. Anthony Bender is probably worth a little bit more than that considering the season he's having, but not unrealistic. Rangers buying, Marlins selling. This is, so far so good with that. I got another trade, John Schreiber. So Baltimore buying, Kansas City selling. Makes sense. I'm not gonna go through every trade, but let's go up to the draft. It's in a couple weeks, and we'll jump back in there. All right, so we're here at the draft, and I don't know if this is gonna hold true throughout the save, but the Yankees are truly picking 29th. They get dropped 10 spots because they were luxury tax offenders for the third time in a row or something. Same with the Dodgers, but they also have a comp pick in here for maybe someone. I think it's a comp pick at least. The Brewers pick twice before the Yankees pick, which that's realistic to real life. I don't know if that holds throughout the save. I don't know. It's probably doesn't. So this is a new screen. Again, it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Did the draft lottery happen already? Yeah, I guess it did. Washington's picking first. They get their pick of the litter. Let's see who they take. They take Ethan Holiday, which is a pretty slam dunk pick. At least, from afar. This Jamie Arnold guy looks sick, though. I would definitely take him first. Wow. That's interesting. Okay. Case Cunningham, good player. Wonder where Arnold goes here. A lot of high school guys going. Devin Taylor, yikes. That's a horrible pick. Unless they know something that I don't. We still have low scouting accuracy, so, I guess the combine really does matter. I'm sure if I only picked like 5 guys, this accuracy would be very high. That's probably the route that I'll go. I'd rather know what I'm getting in a couple guys rather than swinging and throwing a bunch of darts. And the Athletics freaking steal Jamie Arnold with the 11th pick. What's their deal, actually? They're just the Athletics, okay. Do they, where are they playing? They're playing at Sutton. Okay. I wonder if they, automatically relocate or something weird. Be interesting to see. Anyway, we'll just go to our pick. I don't really know too much about any of these guys. Personally, I like having a bigger screen. I guess the sortable list gets you back to the old one. But I do like this draft home screen. This is cool. They give you a couple different recommendations, which is excellent. Rather than, having to go through individual positions and, see what they like for each position. They just give you 4 guys or maybe more, it looks like. Looks like there's 6 allotted spots, and these are all reasonable picks for sure. I'm not gonna take too much time on this, but why does this say he's on the Trenton Thunder? What the heck does that mean? I guess he's playing in the draft. Oh, he's playing in the draft league. Okay, so there's a draft league. I didn't even get that. Trenton Thunder, former Yankees AA team. Yeah, he dominated that. That's cool. You get a little bit more info. That's something I've been asking for. You can set up draft leagues, I guess, or the Cape Cod League. That exists in the game. But having it defaulted for a draft league, that's really cool. So I'm just going to take this guy, Levi Huseman. Kind of gives you a preview of him. That's cool, although not terribly useful. But, still cool. Gives you the overall college junior. It's a cool little screen. I like this. I like this quite a bit. We'll just meet his demand. That's cool. And some sound effects. Nice. I did see this in the trailer. That's really cool. I hope it doesn't do that for every pick, but I bet it does. Then it gives you a list of all your picks. That's freaking awesome. Yankees lost probably their second round pick for signing Max Fried, I'd imagine. But that's awesome. You can see. That's actually great because instead of going to the draft history screen, which kind of takes a bunch of clicks. When you're done with the draft, you can just go right into this screen and go through the offers, what your slot values are. This is fantastic. I love this. I just want to see if it pops up for the second pick. This guy's sick. Sick defensive player, at least. Zach York, Jordan Vera still sitting here. I like this guy. We'll take him. Let's see if the confetti goes off. 29th pick of the third round. No confetti. But anyway, the pop-up comes up. So that's cool. High drafted players. Oh, this is cool. It gives you a little mock draft. I don't really know what this means, though. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so this just gives their mock draft value versus where, Zach York was projected to go in the third round, 6th pick. He's still there. Same for all these guys. That makes sense. And then if you go to all players, you could see, who's gone so far. This is fantastic. If they didn't add anything else, I would be totally happy with this. So let's complete the draft. And can I go back to that screen? I can. Oh, that is fantastic. What a great little feature. And you can click to go to the draft pick negotiation. Sign all these guys. Man, I love that. Okay. Enough raving about this. We did have a couple trades. The biggest one is Zach Gallen going to the Brewers, who are about 500, but they're probably pushing for a playoff spot, even though they're 14 and a half games back in the division. Diamondbacks selling. They're in the gutter, essentially. So they trade Zach Gallen. Not really too impressive of a pitcher, honestly, but at least according to OTP, and having a rough year. So kind of selling low, but the Diamondbacks do get back good value, as they should. Zach Gallen is a free agent, so this is just a rental. A substantial amount to give up for him, but not unrealistic. And then another kind of big trade. It's such a Rays trade too. They trade Ryan Pepio, kind of at peak value, having a really good season, and they ship him off for Garrett Mitchell, young outfielder with a lot of team control, and a decent pitching prospect. So a total Rays trade. The Rays kind of selling, Brewers kind of buying. It makes sense. A couple other minor trades, but nothing too crazy. So honestly, the trade market hasn't picked up as much as I thought it might at this point. Kyle Finnegan, I mean, I don't know how good Kyle Finnegan is in this game, but yeah, having a bad year. Yeah, he's not very good. Then All-Star teams. This has been issue 2 for years, and I feel like it's gotten worse. Just the guys they pick for the All-Star team. So we got a couple guys, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon. Just looking at the raw ERAs, this all looks incredibly reasonable. Just looking at WAR, Jonathan Aranda makes it, but maybe he's Drew Rasmussen makes it. He's a starter. What the heck? He's having a good little season, but maybe second base is really weak. I don't know. Brent Rooker's a freaking beast. Holy crap. Jazz is killing it. Holy crap. What a season. Yeah, just looking at WAR, all totally reasonable. Judge missed a few weeks. He's still there. We get one bad one here. Corbin Burns. Could be a popularity thing, though. Anything else egregious? I mean, Mitchell Parker. He's having an okay year. Caleb Ferguson, -0.5 WAR. I don't know about that. Yeah. So the AL looked pretty good. The NL not so much. Will Smith struggled, but he makes it. Maybe catcher was weak. Jonah Bride, probably the only representative on Miami, I'd imagine. They finally gave Shohei some respect. Feels like he wasn't very good in last year's game. Fernando Tatis is a beast again. That's good. Those are just two guys that didn't really feel like they were very good last year. Shohei pitching has been really, really good. So, nothing too egregious. A couple bad ones like Corbin Burns and Caleb Ferguson, but how's Devin Williams been? He's been excellent. Okay, so we're going to keep moving forward, go to the deadline, review some trades that go down, and then probably just go to the offseason. All right, so a couple of huge trades. The biggest being Tariq Skubal was traded by Detroit. And they gave up this guy, Josh Randall, who's the 43 prospect in baseball. So Skubal in this game, very good. Albeit not, I guess his numbers are good, but not really as overpowered as you'd expect him to be. Having a good season for Detroit. He goes to Minnesota. In division trade. I mean, I hate it. I don't think this is, I guess it's hard to avoid, interdivision teams making trades like this, but there's no way the Tigers would trade Tariq Skubal to the Minnesota Twins. I don't care how good the Twins are. I don't care what they give up. It's just, very difficult to imagine that. So they give up. The Tigers get back Walter Jenkins. Excellent player. Number 5 prospect in baseball. Going to be a beast. Brooks Lee, really good utility infielder type. Another good prospect for sure. Corey Lewis, he's okay. Could find his way into a back end of the rotation. Desan Hill, he's fine. Marco Rea, also fine. I mean, Tariq Skubal, if he's getting traded, he's going for, whoever Minnesota's top 3 prospects are. And maybe even 4 as a in-division kind of rival trade. If I'm in a league and I'm, looking to get Tariq Skubal, I would do this trade for sure. So that's one of them. A guy with team control as well. This one, Dylan Cease is a free agent at the end of the year. So just a rental. They give up Masataka Yoshida, who is overpaid. Having a decent year. He's not a bad player, but he's just overpaid for what he gives. And Quinn Priester, who's actually a pretty good prospect. So, that's a good return. A good enough return for San Diego. I don't hate that at all. Lance McCullers, he's a fine arm. Going to the Cincinnati Reds, so they're buying. Astros are selling after they bought earlier with what trade is that? Yeah, they got Bachman. Thought it was someone bigger, but anyway, they give up Miles Smith and Brian Salgado. Not too crazy. And then Shane Bieber was traded as well. From the Guardians to the Orioles, I could totally see that happening in real life. They give up Dylan Beavers, number 73 prospect in baseball, and Samuel Padilla. Not great. Beaver's actually not very good, so that's tough. Is that how he starts? Yikes. I mean, he was balling before he got hurt last year. In 2 starts, albeit, but that's interesting that he's so bad. But yeah, a reasonable trade. Seth Lugo was traded to the Giants, who are a pretty good team. Lugo, and guy who doesn't really look too impressive on paper. They go with Luis Matos, who's a really, really solid player. Adrian Rodriguez, good dart throw. Decent trade. There's a Robert Stevenson trade here. Yeah, it's kind of just a salary dump deal. Kevin Ginkel for a couple prospects. Nothing too crazy. One of the jarring things is how few trades there were. Jose Leclerc. Looks like that was more of a salary dump type thing. Oh, wait. Texas got Jose Leclerc back. I didn't even realize he signed with the Athletics this offseason. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That makes sense. Kenley Jansen got traded to Toronto for a couple of middling prospects. Not too surprising there. Tyler Fitzgerald. He's kind of a good player. And they get Johnny Brito, who's having a pretty awful season. That's interesting. I don't think the Giants would give him Tyler Fitzgerald after the season he had last year. Not for Johnny Brito, who sucks, quite frankly. Curtis Mead killing it right now in spring training. He gets traded for Harrison Bader. Don't really get that for Tampa Bay, but not crazy. So those are like the main trades, I guess. Oh, here we go. One caught my eye. My own team made this horrible trade. Thairo Estrada was kind of balling it out in Colorado, but they give up George Lombard and Henry Lalane. Two really good prospects. Top 30 guy for Thairo Estrada. Jackson Cox too, okay, but he's not very good. And Antonio Gomez, who, yeah, that's interesting. I don't like that trade at all. I would never make that. Yeah, I guess that's good for now. We'll keep moving forward. So the trades are there were some good ones, some bad ones. That's always going to happen, but looks like that wasn't like completely solved or anything upon launch. So we'll keep moving forward. We'll be back probably in the off season. So before we get to the offseason, Arizona Fall League. This is awesome. It is an option, but having it here by default is great. So I'm not in control of this, but you can select guys that you want to send to the Arizona Fall League. I guess this is for, I guess I'd have to be the manager of the Mesa Solar Sox. I'm not exactly sure if I can have two jobs at once. Yeah, I don't even know. Let me quit my current job. Go to commissioner mode. Am I able to sign on to, where the heck's the button where I get a job? Oh, here we go. Mesa Solar Sox. So these are all the guys that accepted invites. So I get to pick which guys. Okay, you get to pick which guys you want. That's cool. Anyway, that's just a little thing, I guess. That's like cool enough. We'll keep moving forward. Go to the off season. All right, so I did check a little bit into the development lab, the new feature where you can take guys out as they're struggling if you don't think they're going to get there and replace them with someone else. I think that's great, and just kind of a nice evolution of where this can potentially go. So, let's see. I'm just gonna try out a couple different guys. Jason Dominguez. Let's give him a hard one. I see there's no very hard. That's interesting. We'll try to generate bat speed, get some power. Tyro Estrada thing, he put up 4.7 WAR, which is insane. But but like, how did Ben Rice do? He kind of sucked. Well, he wasn't bad. He's kind of a beast though, ratings wise. Volpe had a freaking 6 season, 7 WAR. Let's have him try to improve his infield defense. Everson Pereira, a guy I still like. He's lost some of his prospect luster, but let's try to have him avoid increases, avoid Ks. Let's get some prospects in here too. Although that well's kind of run dry at this point since they traded everyone. Let's do Spencer Jones, avoid Ks. Ben Hess, kind of looking like a beast. Let's try him. Oh, velocity potential. I love that. Okay. That's new. I bet that's based on frame. It's like Malpena. Yeah, okay. So, that's sweet. Great little addition here, too. Yeah, Bryce Cunningham here. Try to improve his control, maybe. This stuff doesn't matter too much. Luis Serna, let's see how he does with let's give him a very hard one. Already put him in there. Roderick Arias. Let's give him a very easy one. Just see how these different difficulties play. Whatever. We'll do can we get a very easy, but like Valoro, let's do base stealing technique, sure. Okay. So we'll try that in the lab. Arbitration, the screen doesn't look too different. We'll see what they decide to do with all that. I still have everything. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll go a little bit deeper into the offseason, see how this lab thing plays out. And we'll hop back in, I guess, once the first round of evaluation comes in. All right, so we just skipped ahead a few days to the first evaluation. So I don't know how this is going to play out, but I guess I can't even remove them until a certain point. So I was going to say I can remove Bryce Cunningham because he's struggling. He's clearly not going to make it. Improving his control, or this is incredibly unlikely that he does. But I guess it's going to be during the first evaluation that I can pull him. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I got a few emails. What was this? Maybe 2 weeks after we started. Different guys and their updates in the lab. So, you see, okay, so this is a great visual. So, I guess to get to frustrated, instead of just guessing how close they are, you can track, I guess, where their progress is. So, you can see Roderick Arias pretty far over the excelling threshold. Valario pretty well on track, and Volpe pretty significantly behind in improving his defense. So I can remove him. So this player is currently struggling, and it may lock in any bad habits. Oh, okay. So you roll the dice of locking it in and cutting your losses. Have a rough time. Well, since this is just a test, I'd like to see how this changes. So he's at 70 range, 60, 60, 65. 70, 60, 65. No noticeable change. Okay, so it tells you right there what happened. So I guess if he was struggling, and I pulled him, there's a chance that his stuff could have dropped. But we got lucky there. Now we can add someone else. Sure, we'll add Rock Selvage, and we can still, add him to the long term. Goals are in the training here. So we're gonna wait for the next midterm report. We'll sim ahead to that. We'll come back. All right. So at the Rule 5 draft, another thing that has just kind of plagued this game for a while, and this seems especially bad. You got Jacob Berry here, who looks like a total stud. Who, by the way, another issue that's been here for years is that these guys are playing in freaking rookie ball as a 24-year-old. Man, I wish this would be resolved already. Like, it's just ridiculous. He played 25 games in AAA in 2024, and then he doesn't even barely sniffs Double A for 2 games, and has played most of his year in rookie ball and A ball. Just insane. But like, tons of guys who should be protected on the 40-man roster that aren't. And usually there's a few, but I've never seen it this bad. So I'll probably have to keep myself out of the Rule 5 draft when I go and play this, because this is just ridiculous. Like, why is Reggie Crawford not protected? Again, another guy who, I guess he barely pitched at all, but he didn't make it above high A as a 25-year-old. Yeah, I mean, geez. This is not good. Not good at all. So, whatever. I guess that's neither here nor there. It's frustrating to see this be an issue every single year with the Rule 5 protection. But I guess there's nothing we can do about it. Jacob Bear. That's ridiculous. So let's see if these guys wind up going. We lost Will Warren, another guy who, is on the 40-man in real life for the Yankees. Whatever. Where the heck's the draft results? Why can I not see that? Guess I just have to go to the end. All right. Sim to the end. Check out the results. So yeah, Class A went. None of these guys wound up going, which is actually even worse. It means that the logic for the AI drafting people is still not really great. Although a lot of these guys are younger, more reasonable guys who would get drafted in the Rule 5. And not 38-year-old, Clayton Kershaw, who signed on a minor league deal, getting picked. Yeah, that's very frustrating. Oops. So we still haven't gotten midterm reports in these guys. Let's just have the AI fill that. Yeah, okay. And free agency did start, so we'll kind of see the deals that are being handed out. Probably the offseason center is the best place to see that. Tony Pino, this guy was a international guy who was generated, I guess. He signs a pretty big deal with the Dodgers, of course. So not unrealistic at all. We just keep accumulating talent. By the way, I want to see if Shohei's contract stuff got fixed. I know he was getting paid $45 million in last year's game. I don't know why. Yeah, why is that the case? It should be $70 million or $2 million and a bunch of money out here, but whatever. I guess that's the average over a 20-year period, maybe. I don't know. We got Dylan C signing a pretty big deal, 5 years, $22 million. Not crazy. I think he'd probably get more years though. Vlad Guerrero signed a 5-year deal. He's looking at the Juan Soto deal right now. He's looking for 15 years. He signs a 5-year deal. I mean, he hits free agency at 31 again. It's not crazy to think he would do that, but he's coming off a down year, so maybe not insane that would be the case. This guy got signed to a huge deal. The starter, 7 years for a 26-year-old, pretty good deal. Nothing else too big yet. Jock Peterson had a crazy year. He finished runner-up, and he signed runner-up for MVP, and he signs a 5-year massive deal at age 33. Holy shit. Well worth it though. I mean, he's won runner-up for MVP. Kyle Tucker's out here. I'm curious to see what he winds up getting when he eventually signs. Framber Valdez just signed. What did he wind up getting? 3 years, AAV of $8 million. Coming off an injury-plagued season, towards rotator cuff. Yeah, that's reasonable. So we'll check back in when some more deals get signed here. So I was just playing around with, we just got the midterm update on these guys. So I was just playing around with taking them out. And it looks like all these guys can be taken out with no consequences, at least as far as I can tell. Then you just throw new guys in. So pretty cool feature. And this isn't like terribly useful once you get deep into this, because then you're stuck with fielding, which I guess is still important, but you can't do any of the long-term ones at this point. So interesting. We'll be back. All right, so the last big domino I was waiting for was to see what Kyle Tucker wound up signing. It was a 4-year, $25 million deal with Seattle. It's backloaded, but a 4-year deal for Kyle Tucker seems pretty low. He's more like, in the 8-year deal, coming off a decent season, not amazing or anything, but, you'd expect him to get, at least more than 4 years on a contract. But I think that's about it for new features or anything. So we'll just wrap up this episode here. Thank you very much for watching this one. And we'll be back at some point with our first series, and very excited to start this game cycle. And pretty optimistic conversation here, I think, today with the new features, and we'll see how they wind up playing out. We'll see if some of the bugs ever get fixed. But that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.